personal issue with the Magrider tank and why I think it is the most underpowered tank in Planetside 2. So, first things, I'll go over the strengths of all the tanks, all the faction-specific tanks. The Prowler has 2 cannons on it, and it can anchor down. 2 cannons increase your DPS, and anchor down is nice for sniping, or if you just want to hold a position and you have some sort of support with you. Vanguard has an overshield, which improves its life. It has more default health behind that shield, which is, it's just overall more tanky. You can go into a situation and more easily get out. And the Magrider floats, and it has this mag burner ability, which it can use, and then if you recharge, you can use it again. So, I like the recharge ability. It can be good, but my main problem with the Magrider is its floating mechanic. A lot of people think it makes up for the deficiencies that are brought about by it not having more health or more damage per second, like the other 2 main battle tanks. However, the main reason people argue this is because you can get up big mountains like this one, and a Prowler or a Vanguard can do this as well, but some mountains are pretty much Magrider exclusive, like this one. And sure, if you're over a base sniping, it can be a great thing, but you can get on many mountains with, like I said, a Prowler or a Vanguard, and snipe just the same from many different mountains. A lot of people are annoyed because they think that when you have the huge height advantage up on a mountain, that the Magrider is super easy to use to your advantage. Which it can be, getting a height advantage is good, but I just want to point out, mountains aren't as OP as everyone seems to think they are. Sure, you can get up on the mountain and you have a height advantage on people out at a distance, but if you're in an active fight with a Vanguard or a Prowler, and you manage to get up on a mountain like this, as you can see, most of the time, you can't aim down. And if you're on a thin mountain, aiming down off the side of the mountain will cause you to tip over the mountain or tip backwards, because you have to move the whole tank. Which results in you actually getting a disadvantage from being on a mountain. If you have to go over the lip of the mountain to be able to fire down on your target, because this doesn't have much de-elevation, then you have a greater chance of getting hit by your target before you even have a chance to get a shot off. It's good for sniping, but then again, a Vanguard, a Prowler could easily get on this exact mountain and snipe. They can get on many other mountains and snipe just fine. None of the Magrider specific mountains I know of are better than any other mountain. And a mountain in which is angled at enough of a slope where peeking over it does give you an advantage. Let me try to find an example up here. Where you can fall back a little bit, get cover, reload, and then peek back over the mountain. That's what you want out of a mountain. It needs to be sloped enough to the point where that cover is cover, but it is not a hindrance to your ability to aim down. For instance, this mountain is a pretty good example. If there's Prowlers, it's not the best example, but if there's Prowlers and stuff down there, you can take cover behind a mountain, peek out real quick, take a shot, and then you can fall back and take cover. Peek out, and then, like I said, not the best example, because the slope still... It's better if the top of the mountain's a plateau, and then you're peeking out over the edge, so a taller mountain, kind of like that, but shorter, so you don't get that hindrance I was talking about earlier. But the issue with those mountains is that everyone can get on them. It's not a Magrider exclusive advantage. So when everyone talks about the Magrider's great because it can get on mountains, what they really mean is it's slightly easier to be able to get in a sniping position. It's not a true advantage over the other main battle tanks. It's not more health. It's not more damage per second. To be frank, it's really fun to play because of this gimmick, but it doesn't give you an inherent advantage. Here, this is a good example. If you're fighting a Vanguard or something down there, then you can peek out, take a shot, take cover, do something like that, and they'll have a hard time getting a beat on you. But like I said, here's a road. Vanguard can get up here. super tall mountains. They can approach your mountain, and then they have an advantage on you if you're trying to peek over the mountain, because your whole front end will go over the mountain first. And another thing I forgot to mention, if you're on one of the narrow mountains, like I said before, the Magrider, you'll tend to tip forward or backwards when you're trying to aim on a really narrow mountain. Like, for instance, here is kind of an example. Imagine this is a taller mountain. If I have to aim downwards, I have to tip all the way over, and then I have a risk of falling down, or if I'm trying to get cover, I'll tip backwards, and I'll probably fall down backwards. If I'm perfectly set up with the mountain, like, you know, vertically, I guess would be the correct term, like this, it works fine. Then you can use it like it's a normal mountain, but it's two-way directional, and it doesn't always work out that way. And like I said, vanguards and prowlers can get up in that position, and because they have a turret on the top, point I was trying to get at the start of this, they can turn their turret, and they get to negate that disadvantage of being on a cliff and tipping over easier. So if I could turn my Magrider turret like this without tipping my whole Magrider to the left, then I would be able to shoot to the right now without going like this and aiming my cannon upwards. And you see, aiming left is fine, but if I aim right, I have a tendency to aim automatically upwards, and I have to get on top of the mountain, and then it's wobbly, harder to aim, and you're a huge target silhouetting on top of a mountain, trying to get an angle you think is better, but you're just a target. Orbital strike. Anyways, that's my rant. Magriders, they're not OP by any stretch of the imagination, and the only reason people think so is because they don't have the experience necessary to tell you otherwise. All they've had experiences of is having an unleveled tank or something that, you know, they're noobs or something. They join, they don't skill their tank, and then they get crushed by a Magrider with a gunner and an Aphelion or a Saren who knows what they're doing. They don't have an advantage because they were on that mountain. You could get that advantage too, just fine. They have an advantage because they're working in a team, they're working smart. You can do that with a Vanguard, plenty of people do it. You can do that with a Prowler, plenty of people do it. And the skill floor is a lot lower for the Vanguard. Wait, I'm not using that term right. It's a lot easier to use a Vanguard, and you can use it more effectively, is what I'm trying to say there. It's... A lot of people think the Magrider is better if the more skilled of a player you are, which is true, but the skill ceiling is a lot lower than the Vanguards. Simple as that. Okay. Let me get somewhere I can actually end my broadcast without dying and wasting 450 nanites. Oh, I also forgot to mention, the rechargeability will block lock-ons that are currently in progress. It'll stop them. That's nice too. But flanker armor will do just as well in preventing you from dying from a needless death. It's not really much better. Anyways, going to end the broadcast now. Hope you enjoyed, and